Mini episode 1149 of the FDH Lounge is brought to you by Sportsology, delivering unconventional columns and webcasts about sports, TV, music, movies, and more. Follow them on the web at sportsology.com.
The FDH Lounge. You want to schedule your life around it.
A long time ago, on a gloomy, wet Cleveland spring night, two men stand alone amidst the late-night drizzle. Their voices echo across the vacant station parking lot as they debate the merits of the great American radio show that have been missing for far too long. On that night, an idea was born. That idea became the FDH Lounge. Welcome to the FDH Lounge.
Hello and welcome to FDH Lounge mini episode 1149, the weekly FDH football preview show. I'm FDH managing partner Rick Morris here with our college and non-college and fantasy and non-fantasy preview for week 3 of the 2019 NFL season. We've got our college football playoff rankings, college and pro picks, and fantasy football recommendations. We start with our weekly rankings for the college football playoff, and they are unchanged from last week. 1 Clemson, 2 Alabama, 3 Oklahoma, 4 Georgia. Our next 4 in are number 5 Ohio State, 6 LSU, 7 Auburn, 8 Notre Dame. Also, our NFL Power Rankings are up every week at the FDH Lounge Multimedia Magazine at thefdhlounge.blogspot.com. Our college football picks were a perfect 5-0 last week. Please bear that in mind when we get to the pro picks. So we're 10-5 on the season. Here's our picks. Ohio -3 over Louisiana Lafayette. Ohio State -39 over Miami of Ohio. Tennessee +14.5 over Florida. Michigan +3.5 over Wisconsin. Texas A&M -3.5 over Auburn. Texas -6.5 over Oklahoma State. Notre Dame +14.5 over Georgia. And Oregon -10.5 over Stanford. Our NFL picks were exactly the same the first 2 weeks, which is probably the first time that's ever happened, which is not good in this instance. 6-10 overall, 0-3 on the Big Three, 0-1 on the lock both weeks. We'll try to avoid replicating those figures for a third straight week. We've got Tennessee -1 over Jacksonville, Green Bay -7.5 over Denver, Philadelphia -6 over Detroit, Baltimore +5.5 over Kansas City, Cincinnati +6 over Buffalo, Atlanta +1.5 over Indianapolis, New England -22 over the New York Jets, Dallas -23 over Miami, New York Giants +6 over Tampa Bay, Carolina +2.5 over Arizona, LA Chargers -3 over Houston, San Francisco -6.5 over Pittsburgh, and Chicago -4 over Washington. For our Big Three, it's Minnesota -8.5 over Oakland, Seattle -4.5 over New Orleans, and in the 1,000-star gold-plated lock of the millennium for NFL Week 3, on an exceedingly painful personal note, it's the LA Rams -3 over Cleveland. Now for our fantasy football segment. Remember, we strongly discourage fantasy football over managing. You don't pull your top guys unless they're hurt or on a bye, period. Don't let the matchups are everything geeks tell you anything different. Here's our list of guys that you go with as long as you're confident that they'll be playing. Quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. Running back, Saquon Barkley, Le'Veon Bell, Nick Chubb, Ezekiel Elliott, Melvin Gordon, David Johnson, Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, and Joe Mixon. Wide receiver, Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, Odell Beckham, Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Michael Thomas. Tight end, Zach Ertz, Travis Kelce, and George Kittle. As always, our Thursday NFL picks and fantasy plays are up on our Twitter account at the FDH Lounge. Now here's our non-gimme picks for the week. We like 18 quarterbacks: Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Jacoby Brissett, Kirk Cousins, Andy Dalton, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jared Goff, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Phillip Rivers, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford, Deshaun Watson, Carson Wentz, and Russell Wilson. We like 15 running backs: Matt Breida, Chris Carson, Dalvin Cook, Austin Eckler, Leonard Fournette, Devontae Freeman, Todd Gurley, Derrick Henry, Carlos Hyde, Mark Ingram, Kerryon Johnson, Aaron Jones, Sony Michel, David Montgomery, and Raheem Mostert. We like 21 wide receivers: Tyler Boyd, Antonio Brown, John Brown, Marquise Brown, Brandon Cooks, Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs, Julian Edelman, Chris Godwin, Kenny Golladay, Josh Gordon, Mecole Hardman, Christian Kirk, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Lockett, Demarcus Robinson, Calvin Ridley, John Ross, Devin Smith, Sammy Watkins, and Robert Woods. And we like 5 tight ends: Evan Engram, TJ Hawkinson, O.J. Howard, Greg Olson, and Jason Witten. Thank you for joining us for this week's FDH Football Preview Show.
As we bring the show to a close, we would like to extend our deepest gratitude to NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox, all Clear Channel affiliates, TNT, TBS, USA, UPN, Deadspin.com, YouTube.com, YTMND.com, MySpace.com, various blogs, Fox News, CNN, CNBC, MSNBC, IamBoard.com, Billboard.com, Google.com, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN News, ESPN Classic, NBA TV, NFL Network, Sports Time Ohio, Athlon Magazine, Comedy Central, Cartoon Network, The Boomerang Channel, QVC, BET, The Spice Channel, Steno Notebooks, Manwich, Papermate Office Supplies, waitresses, strippers, bartenders, garbage men, janitors, microwave popcorn, the writers of The Office, Scrubs, Entourage, My Name is Earl, Oz, Metalocalypse and the Boondocks, Aquafina, and the Periodic Table of Elements.